my views, political views at least, are humanistic, and derived more from a secular orientation. I think certainly I believe in the sanctity of human life. You know, maybe that's where I'm mostly influenced by my religious values. The sanctity of human life, and that, and I should really have added that to what Western civilization is to my categories. That's, I think, the most important element of Judaism, and what distinguished Judaism from barbarism, you know, thousands of years ago. Is its respect for human life and its abiding need to protect human life and the lives of children. I think that my identity as a father probably has as much influence on that kind of thinking, anything else, because I have two children who I want to sure inherit a world that is safe and secure and is professes the values that I believe in.
Mm-hmm. How long did you work with Christians? I assume you're still working with Christians. So how has that affected you?
Well, I think that we have a lot of commonalities, you know, Jews and Christians, and you know, we believe in some of the same fundamental truths: the sanctity of life, the omnipresence of God, the belief in democracy, and democracy is the best means of preserving human rights. So we have a lot in common. And we can talk to one another and share strategies for how to defend the values that we believe in. So, and once again, I find a lot of Christians very much like, you know, liberals. I mean, not today's liberals, but 60s liberals, you know, who have just not changed their values, but society has moved on and left them in the positions they're in, and now they're called conservatives. So,
were you well equipped to deal with Christians already, or was this an area that you had to grow in?
I think when you meet with any new religion, you have to, or practitioners of a religion, you really have to adapt. You have to. There are certain, of course, there are many ways in which you can offend somebody, saying something that they may interpret as rude or offensive. So yeah, you have to learn the ropes when you're dealing with another minority.
Do you do much outreach to Muslims?
Well, we do have association with a number of individual Muslims, but Muslims as a group, of course, the great search in the conservative world and in the circles that I operate in is for moderate Muslims, people who believe what we believe, you know, in the sanctity of human life, the rule of law, democracy, etc. But unfortunately, it's very hard to find them as a group. Most of them are very isolated. An example, of course, is the great Tashbi Sayed, who passed away this time last year, who was really a very close associate of me, and his organisation, the Council for Democracy and Tolerance, was very much involved in everything we did until he passed away. But it's very hard to find moderate Muslims who will, as a group, because there's not really such a thing, a phenomenon. And this is the great dilemma that we face in the world, you know, that we want to reform the Muslim world, but we can't do that. It has to come from people like Tashbi Sayed, but those people are alienated from the Muslim world. They're not really part of it. So what kind of influence can they have? So, yeah, it's a problem.